Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to A Better World with Adrienne. I'm so excited to drop in with you in this deep dive episode. I am feeling such an overwhelming burst of love and joy and passion in my heart at the entrance to this transmission. I think a lot of that has to do with just the energy of October just feels so fresh, so new, so vibrant, so alive. And it also, I'm recording this on the day of the full moon in Aries. It's like, okay, oh, like, how are we leading? How are we growing? How are we just like blazing the path? It really is about blazing a brand new path. And something that I say time and time again to myself, to my clients, to every single soul in this network is we are not taking the road less traveled. We're building a new fucking road. So if you're out here and you're like giving your maximum effort and you're just like taking risks and following your heart and just all of this energy, I want you to know that you're a unicorn and that if you cannot see the plan, you're not supposed to be able to see the plan. That's what makes it so magical and amazing. It's going to click in later. There's been so much rearrangement, especially, at the time of this recording, beginning of October 2025. I almost said 2026 just because my brain and my body is like, you might be experiencing this as well for yourself and just let me know. Like, if you're a listener of the podcast and we've never spoken, like, come message me on Instagram, shoot me an email. Like, I can't guarantee a response time. However, like, let me know. I read everything. Um, Let me know what lands for you, what's alive for you, what's going on for you. Of course, if you want to truly integrate and embody and go full throttle, enter my world, become my client, and join this wave, this New Earth Elite wave. I'm literally so happy and excited about it. There's been a lot of rearrangement and just calling forward. It's a new expression of your destiny, of your divine gifts. And I just feel, when we want to go high, we first got to go deep. If you're going to go to a new heights, you've got to go to a new depth. And so the depth I'm really feeling is love. And I've been feeling this for myself and all my clients and really just with this full moon in Aries, it's kind of not kind of, it's a very bombastic breaking free moment. So I invite you to break free of all limitations and, where have you been committed to confusion? That's something that a lot of people don't realize that they have been committed to probably their whole life. It's like, you're not confused. It's just the unknown. And you got to barrel forward with both feet. If there's anything I know for sure, I know that the one way to guarantee failure, the one way to guarantee failure is to half-ass it, is to put one foot in and one foot out. That's how you guarantee failure. The only way you can even make winning possible is 2 feet in, burn the boats, no backups, like let's go. So that's the energy I'm bringing to this transmission. And you may be feeling it too. So I'm so excited to be here. A couple things before I set the altar. Um, I am doing in October 2025, I'm doing quantum jump sessions, okay? One-on-one quantum jump sessions. I got this download and it's very Aries. It's like, oh yeah, boom, we're doing it. Just do it, right? So this is an opportunity for you to have a one-on-one deep dive session with me, and then we have a week of either Voxer or Telegram audio coaching after that for a week for integration, installation, like total embodiment. You can ask me questions. A lot comes up in these sessions, and these sessions are for you if you want a pattern interrupt that's literally going to quantum jump you di directly and deliberately to where you want to be in your soul path. So a lot of people spend a lot of time. They're like, well, I'm in the process. I'm doing it's all just a big distraction. You can just immediately go to where you want to go, energetically, and I can show you exactly how to do that through an astrology reading. We can code it into your body with the cosmic cellular breath work journey, obviously shamanic insights. I'm an oracle, high performance for the habits. This is like my one-on-one clients is usually 6 months minimum, and it starts at 5K a month. So the opportunity to sit with me one-on-one at this price point is honestly insane, and I'm really excited about it. So the link to that will be in the show notes. There's limited spots. I don't know if any will be available. Still, when I record, like when this podcast publishes. So if you're interested in it, just go in the show notes. And if they're still available, then the link will be right there for you. And the other thing I really want to share and invite you into is the New Earth activation retreats for 2026. So what I'm going to be talking about today is very, very linked to the Paris Magdalena retreat in February. That's for divine feminine powerhouses around the world. Sorry, not sorry. It's not for men. It is ancient feminine codes. Now, the Greece retreat in June, if you are a man, you can come to that one absolutely. So the link to that is in the show notes. And my theme for October is really romanticize and prioritize. I just keep getting the message of like, you've just got to, like, it's all about depth. Like, I'm a specialist, right? And what I see most people do is that they are doing like 50 projects halfway rather than like three things that are actually going to move the needle forward on your dreams for the long term and saying no to everything else. So it's really about, for me and this movement and this network, especially, probably my greatest gift from the I feel like I could make a lot of money if I just started making merch that said I survived the September 2025 eclipse season. Because literally every single person I know, like whether they felt like they were face planning or they felt like they were winning the biggest they've ever won, it was like shit was unraveling. It was like even the people that were winning, it's like, wow, like everything's going really, really well, but also like all of this other stuff is shattering because to bring in the new, we've got to get rid of what cannot come with. So, um, it's just a powerful time. You know, I would say my biggest gifts were a massive, massive clearing and the just clarity. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and it kind of reminded me of my ayahuasca experience, which I'm thinking about doing a podcast series on that, and it might be a private podcast series because that shit is personal um and deep. And it might just be that it exists behind a paywall. I don't know. Um that was like when I sat with ayahuasca, that was like I got destabilized. Like I was very destabilized in the service of long-term stabilization. So like especially my first night, I was like extremely destabilized. And then it took me a couple weeks after that to be like, okay, what? And a lot that I'm going to be talking about in this episode is linked to things that came through with that. But the September eclipse season was very destabilizing, and then it stabilized. It gave me I got the New Earth Elite assignment. And that is, I got it loud and clear. And that's literally the trajectory of the rest of my life is this movement. Um, like I mentioned in the Friday Fire, there's so much coming through. Um, and right now I get to just enjoy it behind the scenes. I get to do secret, mysterious offers and just barrel forward. Stay tuned. If you want to get in this work, but first of all, if you want to just quantum jump in October after everything that happened in September, book a quantum jump session. Like literally, I'm so excited for these. They're just absolutely incredible. They change the whole trajectory of people's lives, like one session does. And something that is going to be a deep part of this mission forever is going to be these unicorn in-person activation retreats. So if I know that, I'm someone who I hop on planes last minute, I do the crazy shit. And honestly, a lot of my clients are like that. You may be like that listening to this. However, with the retreats, I invite you to plan ahead, especially for these two. Paris in February and Greece in June. There is an option that you can do both. So the option that you can do both is fucking incredible and it includes a private mastermind that's only for people that do both. It's called Rainbow Road. And that's going to be starting in January at the beginning of 2026, that private mastermind. And it's all about the continuous journey and first the preparation for Paris, and then, the continuity between Paris and Greece. And then there's going to be an integration period after Greece. But I'm literally so deeply excited about all of this. So, whether you want to book the one-on-one quantum jump or you want to apply and book your spot for the retreat, or you want to do both, that's available for you. I do have some long-term one-on-one spots open. If you know that's you, the link is also in the show notes. Okay, let's get into today's episode. So, before we do, let us call upon the altar. I have a very, very simple altar. My altar has really simplified since I've been in this season of being a nomad. However, I don't know if I fully resonate with that like nomadic life. I just feel like I'm a maverick. I am a maverick, and all my clients are mavericks. It's like we do things differently. We do things differently. We are unbranded. We're outside the matrix. And so I've really all my earth placements, LOL, have gotten very used to a smaller altar. And I've always traveled with like, I have a little mini Ganesh that I take, and obviously my meditation beads and my mala. On the altar today is very, very simple. We have a white candle burning, calling in all healed ancestors and guides. I want you to know that in October 2025, just like every single October, the veil is going to be incredibly thin, especially as we go into Scorpio season and planets move into Scorpio, and especially as we move toward Samhain, the Day of the Dead, October 31st. Okay. All of that is like, wow. All of that is like, wow. You've got to have mastery in energetic hygiene. Okay. The amount of spiritual warfare I'm seeing is unmatched. So you've just got to take command. You've got to take command of your energy, of your space. So that's what we do with the white candle. We have Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, um, just purifying and protecting our space. And we have one white rose and one red rose. And I've been guided to this very specifically for many weeks, bringing in the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And that's really coming through Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. And that's really coming through for the synergy and the harmonization of these frequencies on our planet. So we are in Libra season at the time of this recording. Libra is not about balance. Balance doesn't exist. Balance is 50-50. Balance is actually tit for tat, like lack consciousness. If you look at the earth isn't balanced. She runs in harmony. If you listen to an orchestra, it's not about balance, it's about harmony. And it's a totally different frequency and orientation to life. And these two roses represent, first of all, roses are extremely the highest frequency flower, and it represents the purification and the Christ consciousness. And the father sky is the white, and then the red rose is the divine feminine, the mother, Mary Magdalene, the mystery, the blood clot red that comes from a cycle, that comes from a womb that literally creates life. Like those are the energies. So let's take 3 deep breaths together to connect our energies. Whether you're walking, singing, dancing, driving, sitting, just be here now. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. One final inhale through the nose. Hold at the top because you can, because you're strong, and just invite an intention for what are you bringing to this space. Rather, what can you get from this space? What can you give? What are you pouring into the cauldron of energy and matrix of creation that we are doing today? Exhale out the mouth. Okay, the portal has been set. I'm so excited to jam on these topics. And really, what I want to speak into today, I don't know how long this podcast will be. I just feel a really, really deepening of potency. There's just an immense deepening of potency right now. And maybe it's because this full moon is happening in my 12th house of like behind the scenes and everything. However, I think it's what I was sharing in the intro. It's like this deepening that must occur. Like you've got to go anchor down deeper to rise higher, you know? I want to speak directly about sacred geometry, divine union, and extreme feminism, how this is all playing out in New Earth, and how this all is impacting us birthing a better world, because the deep intention of this podcast, and will always be the deep intention of this podcast, is that you come here to learn, to grow, to gain insights, to heal, to expand. And what I always say is, even if you took 10% of what you hear in this podcast and you implement it, your whole life will change. So anything in our lives, it's not about information, it's about implementation and integration, right? If it was about information, we'd all be happy billionaires with six-pack abs. And rare is the soul, right? Rare is the soul. Why? Because it's about radical implementation. It's not about what you know, it's about what you live. So, sacred geometry, this has been coming up for me so deep. And I will say that I'm going to reference things about my dating life. I'm mostly an open book. And at the same time, ever since I studied Kabbalah, and I actually did this intuitively for many years without realizing what I was doing. But Kabbalistically, when we reveal like a lot of things about our blessings, then they are not protected as much because it can cause evil eye. So, especially when something is in like a beginning stage, like let's say you have the beginning idea of a business, but it's not fully formed. It's not like, oh, don't share it with your coach or your mentor, or like spaces where you're designed to grow. However, it is about keeping it close to the chest and not letting people that cannot hold it um know about it, right? So I don't share a lot about certain things. I'm going to reference certain things here, and I'm also not going to go into super detail. So I have learned a lot in the past, specifically 6 months, when it comes to divine feminine and divine masculine energy. I really got very keyed into, okay, I'm meeting my husband this year. I'm manifesting divine union. And it was around this time, it was more like last January. I got really, 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 really close with Mary Magdalene. And I was like worshiping her every day. And I was just like meditating with her. And she's literally here in this transmission with us. And I'm just like, that's why I'm called to do the Paris Magdalena retreat, because Paris for me was a Mary Magdalene activation. And why is that? Well, Mary Magdalene fled to France after Yeshua was murdered, or some people say crucified. Um, he Mary Magdalene fled because she wasn't safe anymore in that part of the world. So she fled to France. She went into hiding, and she knew because she was an oracle and a prophecy, like, hey, my name is going to get ripped to shreds for thousands of years, and then there's going to be a wave of souls who come back for the next great time of awakening and miracles. And between you, me, and the cosmic campfire, that time is now. It's been 2,000 years since Yeshua incarnated, and now we are here doing the next leg of the journey, okay? The miracles that we get to create right now, like they even say so many times in the ancient texts, in the Zohar, in the Bible, like this is just the beginning. Greater miracles than this will be performed on earth. That is happening right now. So I feel really called to speak about sacred geometry, what divine union really means, and what extreme feminism has done on our planet. There's so many different layers to this, and I'm just going to let it flow intuitively through my channel. One thing to say is I'm talking about archetypes and frequencies. I'm not talking about gender. People get really bent out of shape about, you know, gender, and it's like we have more important things to talk about. Like if we cannot transcend that conversation and just be like we're talking about frequencies and energies, then that's the reason that people are not creating dreams and their goals and miracles in their life with creator. So sacred geometry is our natural state, and this goes back to Egypt, where, by the way, New Earth Elite, everything we're doing here, it really goes back to the mystery school lineage in Egypt. It's very connected to goddess Hathor, and it's what, like, Mary Magdalene herself, she traveled to Egypt every year for months at a time to study and to master skill sets. And in the mystery schools, in the temples, what I see so much of is that people in general are have become really, really entitled. Why do you expect to be able to achieve your soul mission if you're not willing to train? Like literally Mary Magdalene, all of these great ascended masters, everybody trained to become masters at their spiritual craft, to become energetic Jedi, ninjas, like manifestation, like high performance and all of that stuff. That's how they were able to do what they did. And so it's very interesting to be alive right now. And I just see so many people. It's like, yeah, you want to do A, B, C, D, E, but did you train? Do you treat yourself as an athlete, as an endurance athlete? No. And that's another reason why I was given New Earth Elite, because it's not, people get so bent out of shape about the word elite. Elite is not about hierarchy. I think it's been that way um before, but it is about like having an elite skill set. Like nobody could ever say that the Olympic Games are not the best athletes in the world. They have an elite skill set. They are better than everyone else at their sport, at their specialty, right? We must become elite and better than everyone else at the skills, at the sacred skills, sacred geometry, manifestation, healing through energy, quantum leaping on purpose with the stars. Like these are all skill sets, right? It's all about mastery. And the sacred geometry, what's going on our planet right now? Today's a full moon in Aries. We have Chiron in Aries. Aries is very connected to the masculine energy. And what I really am going to be, I'm going to be speaking a lot into feminine energy because I am a feminine force. I have a very healthy, strong masculine frequency within me. That's the reason why I've been able to build and be successful in every arena I've entered. Um, and because, I just don't believe in quitting. I never give up until it works. Um, Sacred geometry is the natural architecture that we are meant to exist in, where the divine feminine and divine masculine are fused together. It's like a puzzle piece that clicks in together when they both thrive. And I've been really experiencing this through Kabbalah. I've been experiencing this through my experiences with dating and calling in my husband and literally meeting my twin flame, which I didn't even like, I didn't know if I fully like believed in that until it happened. And I was like, oh my God. Um, and it's just like an immense, immense blessing and an immense initiation. However, I've learned through study, through energy, and part of what I've learned with sacred geometry, actually, I learned how to receive from the masculine because, like, you may resonate with this. Like, I was raised with a specific frequency of masculine energy that was based much in lack and very influenced by matrix programming. And it's not that these people are like bad people, but it's just a different, it's not the new earth frequency of the true divine masculine, right? The divine masculine protects, provides, is incredibly, incredibly generous. Like, this is why whenever I'm dating, if a guy asks me to split the bill, it's an automatic no. Like that will never be the correct relationship for me because that just shows that they don't like literally somebody once wanted me to split a coffee bill and I was like, it literally has nothing to do with whether or not I can get the check. I can get the check. It's about this person is not a giver. They're not exuding the highest frequency of masculine energy. My feminine cannot relax into providership right now, and this just won't work. Like, and this isn't something that I've got to explain or teach. It's something that I teach my clients when people pay me. However, in dating, I'm just not available. I'm not there to coach my partner. I'm not there for any of that. I'm not there to be a mother. I'm there to be a lover and a muse and have the time of my life and be present and be relaxed. And what I discovered, and sacred geometry, it really is this clicking in. And something that happened when I was traveling in Europe, it was really, really immensely powerful. Um, for me to be in places that still worship the goddess. Because something with the divine feminine is meant to be worshipped. Like I am meant to be worshipped. And honestly, like my king, like it's so easy to worship him. It's so easy. It is so easy because the integrity is there, the certainty is there, the giving and providership and just like holding and structure is there. Like it's so easy. Everybody gets to be worshiped as like spiritual royalty and children of the God and all of this. And it's very aligned with sacred geometry. And so when I was in Europe, like I dated in every city I was in, it was like I couldn't keep up with like people are like asking me if I'm on the apps and I'm like I don't even know how you do the apps. I can barely keep up with what's happening in person. Like but it was so powerful. Literally everywhere I went, all I met were fantastic, phenomenal men jumping out of cars, like carrying my bags, doing this, paying for my dinner when I never even met them from the corner across the restaurant, like absolutely insane. And this is what happens when you are in deep alignment, you're in deep joy, and you're living your soul purpose and you're living your truth. That creator just arranges the universe. And I decided a long time ago I was like, I only meet good men. I only meet good men, right? And the people get a lot of women don't love to hear me say that because they have been very attached and convinced to the lie and programming that there are no good men. And so then they manifest mediocre men into their life. It's all a mirror, it's all a hologram, and you can change it at any single moment, right? And so I was like, I only meet amazing men. And that's exactly what happened. And when I was in Europe, which this is a really, there's so many reasons why I'm relocating to outside the US in 2026. A lot of it has to do with how my body feels. It aligns with my values. I'm being called to live on certain land. I'm being called to more ancient places. Um, it was like literally everywhere I went, they're like, "You're not like a normal American." I'm like, "Thank you." I'm a unicorn. I'm a unicorn everywhere. It doesn't matter where I am. But people are like shocked. The people are like, I expected you to open your mouth and have like this kind of accent or this kind of accent. And then you're just this like crazy American. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm magical. Um, However, it just was such a confirmation of this sacred geometry and this sacred geometry, like whether it was happening in like a casual date or happening with men on the street or happening with just the energy. Like this even happened to me over the weekend. I'm in the US right now. I'm in a major transition portal preparing for 2026 and everything. Um, and just like rooting down, honestly, after so much seismic change and awakening, I had like my car, I had issues with my car, and literally within 15 minutes, like four strong, masculine, like powerful presences show up to help me. Literally like, hey, it's really hot outside. Will you sit in like you can sit in my car with air conditioning while I fix this. Like that is like the responsibility of the feminine is to receive, right? The feminine is receiving, the masculine is giving. And I think people get really, really tripped up in this, especially in business with the female business owners, because they're like, I'm just here to receive. I'm like, yeah, but in your soul mission, you're here to give. Your soul mission is a masculine energy. You're literally giving. So what I learned in my business, and the only time I was able to actually figure out what this energetic was, and I'm going to get into why it was so challenging for me and maybe for you too. Everything I'm sharing, I want you to apply to your life and you're like, "Okay, how does this show up for me?" Um I only ever learned about true receivership from the masculine frequency through my relationship with Creator and God through the medium of money. I healed my relationship with the divine masculine through money because I allow Creator to provide for me. When my clients pay me, it's from Creator. Like, yes, are they paying me? Yeah, but it's from Creator. Creator provides. Creator provides. And it's that leaning back receivership, okay? It's like, okay, I'm gonna create. The feminine is very creative. The feminine is very artistic. She's flowing, she's dancing, she's delighting, right? And then the masculine is like, what are the structures that gets to go through, right? And so when you're in this sacred geometry, everything clicks in, everything works, whether it's in a human-human relationship, whether it's frequencies in Mother Earth, in nature, whether it's receiving from like Creator is a giving, generous force, and we are just here to be the vessels to receive. So I never mastered that or understood that or learned about that until I started my first business. And I was like, oh, and I say this again and again and again. There's nothing more holy than making a lot of money with God. There's nothing more intimate than being provided for by God in that way. And it's different than, people have all different kinds of companies. And I know people that they have companies that make money that in ways where they don't love every single part of it from an integrity standpoint. That's not New Earth. It's it's way more intimate and real and holy when it's your sole purpose. I saw someone say something the other day. They're like, try starting a business and having a spiritual awakening at the same time. And I literally responded, I was like, no, it's literally impossible to not have both. Like the moment you start a business sharing your gifts, you will have a spiritual awakening because it will activate every single trigger and dormant like wound you have. Because you're like, hey, here I am. This is what I believe in. This is my magic to share. By the way, do you want to pay me for it? It's kind of like you want to grow really, really fast spiritually, start a soul business, right? I mean, start any business, but a soul business because it's directly tied to your gifts and your medicine. So, this is just some of my musings about this energy, but sacred geometry, going back to, I mean, Shiva and Parvati in the yogic traditions, going way, 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 way back into all of these lineages, like Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene paid for all of Yeshua. Now, she bankrolled most of Yeshua's mission. So honestly, like I think that's why I'm so called to Mary Magdalene. I get so much hate from specifically other women and men too, about my wealth identity as a rich woman and a rich woman on my own terms. And I just and Mary Magdalene had that. And being demonized and being misunderstood and judged. And literally, Mary Magdalene could not do her part of the mission and share her gifts. They were equals, by the way, because it was literally unsafe. She would have gotten murdered if Yeshua hadn't been there holding down the masculine presence of what safety, of what structure, of what protection, of what providership. And I will tell you that I have never felt more powerful than being in a state with my divine counterpart where I could provide for everything. However, I didn't need to because he could and he wanted to and he wouldn't let me. That's provision. it's this sacred geometry. And I realized I was like, oh, like I'm so relaxed right now. I'm so relaxed into this. This is what this sacred geometry is. And I'm going to be real with you. It's the first time in my life, in this lifetime, where I've ever experienced true divine sacred geometry in this human body. Because every time up till now, I've been the daddy. I've been the one who has their shit together. I've been the one, and this is really gonna flow into, this is really going to flow into extreme feminism and how that has really messed up the sacred geometry and the natural architecture energetically of our species and of our world. Okay. Feminism happened because, a lot happened to the feminine that was incorrect, extraction, not valuing us for our brains and like all of these things. Like I believe in a lot of that, and it's gone to a very deep extreme where people are just so disconnected from their womb and just kind of sterilized themselves and just being in this, how do I want to say it? Like pretending to be a man, basically. And here, I'll be the first one to say, I created so much success that way, pretending to be a man. I worked in a male-dominated field. I played in orchestras and I was a brass player. They didn't even allow women into orchestras until the 70s. That's really, really recent. And I would go to jobs and gigs and it would be like 100 people and it would be like me and like one other woman. The stories I could tell you. So I played the game and it worked and I hustled my little heart out. And here's the thing, the hustle is holy when you're following your life path. When you're following your life path, it gives you life. It gives you, that's when you're in your art. That's when you're in your creativity. That's when you're in your joy. That's magnetic. That's actually the feminine. The masculine is boom, precision, boom, I'm going to build this, boom, 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 boom. And it's not like we can't have all of one or all the other, right? It's got to be the synergy. And what happened with extreme feminism is we completely rejected the masculine. And so there's this deep imbalance on our planet. Like people are always pointing to the finger to like, oh, what are the men doing wrong? Like, oh, toxic masculinity. But the only reason toxic masculinity exists is because the wounded feminine is the perfect puzzle piece for it. And extreme feminism is the perfect puzzle piece for it. I will gladly say that I do need a man. I do um not need like needy, but like from an energetic standpoint, like I will never be in my full potential if I'm not in divine union, in right relationship with the sacred geometry, and in this providership energy with the masculine. The masculine is here to back the feminine, is here to hold the feminine. And the feminine is the vessel for the masculine to manifest. It's, I'm tossing in some Kabbalah, but just I've learned so much over the past 6 months, and especially in my studies with and just communion with Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, it's like this transmission has got to come through. So what I really want to leave you with is just a different frequency and energetic of the masculine and feminine energy, what sacred geometry really means. How is it showing up for you in your life? Okay. Do you feel like you run more masculine or more feminine? What do you feel like you're being called to cultivate right now? Are you a feminine force? First of all, if you're a feminine force like me and you're immensely powerful, your divine counterpart will be obsessed with your power. They will be obsessed with your power and vice versa. You will be obsessed with their power because it will be divine and holy. And it's extremely rare and it exists. It exists, it exists, it exists. I'm here to say it exists. I've lived it and this is new earth. And you've got to reject the extreme. If you're a woman and you've had feminism put into your DNA, which I think most of us have, especially in the West, you've got to reject that and allow space for the masculine energy. Not just any masculine energy, but divine masculine energy. And this is all energetics, right? The other thing I want to say is that if you are not okay with your own masculine energy, you won't be okay with true masculine energy outside you, as within, so without. Same with men. Like it's all connected. And I could go on and on and on and on. If you want to go deep with this on this, for the feminine beings out there, come to Paris, Mary Magdalena. It's a divine feminine reclamation where you're gonna reactivate this. And it's aligned with Friday the 13th, which is Venus Day, which is already the feminine, and it's just historically one of the most powerful feminine activation days that exists. So it's immensely powerful. Let me know what landed for you in this episode. These are the energetics that are going to birth a world we're proud of. It's been a long time coming that I wanted to share a bit more about this, but sacred geometry, divine union, and rejecting extreme feminism are vital to your mission, vital to New Earth. I believe that we're designed to be in divine union. We're not designed to walk alone. I think we walk alone on parts of our journeys. I think that's very important. We've got to be able to be alone, and have a relationship with Creator. However, nobody's here to be alone long term. Divine union is actually how you access your fullest power, whether you are a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. Divine union is actually a portal to self-actualization as long as it's the correct one. It's a distraction when it's not correct, when it's not holy, when it's not in sacred geometry and synergy. So this is, again, another ancient code that we must master and live to make a world we're proud of. So yeah, I've never felt so free just um knowing this energetic in so many different ways and seeing how powerful it is to literally heal and change everything like in 100x the speed. So it's my deep wish for you to have this too. And this is how we reharmonize the planet, by the way, is when we all get in this relationship, and it starts between you and Creator. You cannot have it with another human if you don't have it with Creator. So when we all do this, then we tip the scales for the whole planet. Ways to go deep in this work with me. One-on-one quantum jump in October. If you want to explore this topic more, we could definitely do that in a session. Paris Magdalena retreat, long-term mentorship, Greece retreat. Let's go. I'm so excited about this work. I love you, and I believe in all of these energetics so deeply as a deeper octave and layer that we get to bring forward to change our planet. I love you. I believe in you. Go make a stranger smile. And I will see you next time on A Better World with Adrienne.